Hello everyone, welcome to the Fire Artisan channel. This is Drew, and today we are playing some Izzet Storm Conduit. You could also call it Izzet Combo, Izzet Raw. We're playing with the Mythos, which is really fun. If you're not really familiar with the idea behind this deck, it's kind of based on this deck from Anna May, which she played with, I mean, it was like a year and a half ago at this point in a very different standard. But the basic idea is that Raw Storm Conduit is your main card, this 4-mana planeswalker. And what he does is his -2 allows him to copy instants and sorcery spells on your turn. So you do have to be a little bit responsible in that sense, like you're not copying on your opponent's turn. But every time you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, he deals 1 damage to an opponent or planeswalker. So he's a great way to, you can sort of burn your opponent out with him, and that does happen as you gain card advantage over the course of the game. But you can also pick away at their planeswalkers. So he is a really powerful card. He doesn't really do anything when he comes down, because usually you spend 4 mana to cast him, and then you can't usually minus him right away unless you're really late in the game. So that's kind of the huge downside of him. His +2 is to scry 2, and he does go up by 2 every time, which is really nice. Excuse me, scry 1. But, you know, that's not all that powerful for a 4-mana planeswalker. So in order to support him, we basically just have a ton of instant and sorcery spells that would, where there would be some value in copying them. We are basically any burn damage that can hit the opponent's face is at a premium here, because that's what Raw does. He kind of burns the opponent out. So cards like Shock, Bone Crusher Giant, Ionize, Expansion Explosion, these cards are really strong here. So that's kind of what we're looking at. The Mythos is really interesting. We actually do have the ability to cast it for full value because we're playing with the triomes here. So that's exciting. I mean, it's a solid land anyway, and we tend to just draw a lot of cards with this deck. So the reason I'm playing with 4 triomes is, 1, we can cast the Mythos for full value, you know, if we tap for green, but 2, these are valuable cards to cycle away. They're very strong cards. You see a lot of people these days who are playing with 2-color decks, especially decks that are obviously more on the control, ramp, combo side of things, as opposed to aggressive 2-color decks, playing with these triomes, because they are just really strong cards. The cycling ability is really obviously the greatest strength, plus the fact that if you're playing with a card like Nissa, this land does count as a forest. So that might matter. Other nuts and bolts in this deck include 3 copies of Chemister's Insight to ensure that, and that one's directly from Anime. She wanted to make sure that she had substantial card advantage with this deck. That's really important. You just can't be off the top with it. It's not really powerful enough to be doing that. Mystical Disputes, classic. You could definitely play with 3 or 4 of these in the main. It's not, obviously not a spell that we want to copy, so that's why I'm not that high on it, but otherwise it's really strong. Frantic Inventory is a new card from this most recent set, and it's kind of just the best 2-mana instant speed card drawing spell. So that's what we're looking at there. And I don't think, obviously Expansion Explosion. I mean, this isn't Temur Reclamation, so we're not going to be able to, you know, we're not playing Wilderness Reclamation and casting this for 15, you know, untapping, doing that whole thing. But we can copy explosions with Raw. So in that sense, even an explosion for 3, for example, can be very devastating, at least in terms of card draw, but also in terms of, you know, killing a Lovestruck Beast for X = 3 or something like that. So, or Terror of the Peaks. Maybe that's a more appropriate standard reference at this point. We don't see a lot of Lovestruck Beasts anymore. So that's the deal. If all goes well, we'll sort of drown them in card advantage, and we'll be doing a lot of damage at their face simultaneously. I'll show you the sideboard here. All right, so we got 2 copies of Negate, 2 copies of Mystical Dispute. Yeah, we want to, 2 copies of Ionize as well. We basically want to take advantage of our devotion to blue and be ahead of our opponent in terms of basically being more proactive, not letting our opponent land a card like Teferi Time Raveler, which basically against these control decks, some of these ramping decks, we really just need to be able to play like a flash deck. But that said, against decks where they're not playing with too many creatures, Legion Warboss is really strong to bring in. So we have a full 4 copies of the Warboss. You do see people play with this kind of thing in these Izzet spells builds. Just one significant threat in the form of a creature that can just take over the game, because obviously against this deck you should expect your opponent to board out all of their creature-based removal. So yeah, that's when the Warboss comes in, especially when you're on the play. There's really nothing stronger on the 3rd turn than a Warboss on the play against an opponent that isn't expecting that sort of card. And of course, we've got Storm's Wrath and Flame Sweep for decks like Mono Red, Mono White. There's been a lot of diversity in Standard lately. It feels like a really good time to be playing. So, and yeah, we're just hoping to add to it. I don't think many people are playing decks like this. You see some Izzet Spells decks, but they tend to be more like draw 2 decks or Phoenix decks. And poor Raw Storm Conduit isn't seeing a whole lot of play. So we're hoping to correct that a little bit today. All right, let's jump in here. This deck has always kind of been obviously like a total fringe deck, but for me it's always been an important deck ever since I saw the list shortly after Anime played with it. And she had a lot of success in the tournament that she took it to. I think she actually won it. I think she went undefeated, and yeah, it felt like the deck kind of came out of nowhere. It's a great deck. It's very underrated. Wow, 3 Triumphs in hand? That's so weird. Huh. It's weird because we have 3 Triumphs in hand, which is just, the odds of that are just so low, but we also have a pretty good hand regardless. If I were still doing the the thumbnails where I just have the opening hand, this would be a pretty priceless one. I think I'm going to keep it though. Hopefully we draw an untapped land so we can play our turn 2 on time. But I think aside from the weird land situation, we look okay. Hopefully we're playing a creature deck, because Bonecrusher Giant and Brazen Borrower would be a lot better. Alright, the opponent's taking a second on their first turn. Alright, they drop an island. We do not draw an untapped land, so I guess we're just playing 3 Triumphs in a row here. Not really where you want to be, but oh well. I found it's just absolutely essential with this deck to just hit your land drop every turn, because it is a really land hungry deck. Oh, interesting. This is some kind of Izzet mirror match by the looks of it. We do have a Mystical Dispute up. Crash Through, that makes me think maybe this is one of those prowess aggressive Izzet decks. Oh, we can counter the Pteramander. No, I think I'd rather Bonecrusher Giant the Pteramander. Crash Through. All right. So our opponent did hit their land drop. And we miss. Do we just play Bone Crusher Giant here, or do we leave up Mystical Dispute? What's my opponent likely to play? Maybe that 3-mana flyer. Kind of like playing out the Bone Crusher Giant here. I mean, given that my opponent is having some land problems, I think Mystical Dispute will still be relevant for a few more turns. Oh, I hope they don't just spend 4 mana on one spell. Oh, they do. Brutal. No, brutal. Ah, that is so disappointing. We offer the trade, which they're not going to take. And we miss a land drop ourselves. Absolutely no way to try to get it. And we have fallen behind here. Crash through. Sounds good. Scorching Dragonfire. Should we just dispute that? Probably. Yeah. Now, I'm guessing they had a Mystical Dispute in hand, but they just didn't want to fight that battle. So I feel like we're really not looking at a turn 4. I mean, this is well beyond turn 4. We have missed like 2 land drops, but we're not looking at a Rawl when we hit our 4th land. This deck plays 24 lands, and Anime played 23 lands with about the same curve. Oh my god, our 4th Triome? Are you kidding me? This is ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, we need the land. Yeah, I think we're just tacking past each other here. Unsummon. Sure. Oh, should we unsummon their thing? No, I don't think so. They just draw another card. Yeah. We don't have to discard, do we? No, we're good. Not sure what my plan is here. Don't love the idea of sending their Drake back to hand. If they play another spell, I might do it, though, just for the sake of tempo. Maybe new plan is to just, I don't know. I'm not going to be able to Bone Crusher Giant this thing because they could play 2 spells. I don't love this. Do you ionize this? I think I'll let that hit. They know about the Bone Crusher Giant. Oh my god, and they have 2 mana up. It's pretty brutal. Alright, so I think what I want to do here is just send this Crackling Drake back. See if they do anything in response. Okay. And they're just going to leave 2 mana up. Okay. So, kind of like the idea of ionizing their Drake. Do I need to take 2 damage? Yeah, I do, because I want to have ionize plus expansion up. This is a weird sort of mirror. And look at us with our 4 triumphs down. What a ridiculous game. I think I'm just... Obviously don't want to get blown out by whiffing on the Bonecrusher Giant on their Dorat. The perfect pet. I thought this thing was... Oh, it is Sprite Dragon. I don't get why... Whatever, I'm not going to worry about that. Yeah, this was the plan. I guess we're just hoping to burn them out, because this deals 2 damage, and then if we copy it, it does another 2 damage. Yeah. Alright, they let that happen. That was a big play. That was a big play. We did not have an answer to their Crackling Drake, so feel a lot better now. Should we go for the Bonecrusher Giant just because we don't have anything else to do? No, that doesn't seem right. Yeah, that doesn't seem right. Then again, so if we go for it, force them to cast something, use their mana, 1, 2, draw a land, 1, 2, 3, 4. No, it's still really bad. So I can send out a Brazen Borrower next turn as a blocker, plus Bonecrusher. Could play Raw. And still have... I think you go for Raw here. I have expansion to back it. Yeah. We'll see how much counter magic my opponent has been saving for this moment. All right, apparently not that much. So we could copy Bonecrusher for 4 damage. How likely are they to be able to double trigger this Dorat? I don't know. I kind of like it. So even if they double, they'd have to triple spell to save it. I think we go for it. I mean, I guess they could just Mystical Dispute this Bonecrusher Giant. I mean, that would be a little bit of a blowout. Okay. So here's the burn side of this deck that I was telling you about. If all goes smoothly for us here, we will kill their perfect pet. All right, we're going to see a shock. So these are just the triggers that whenever we cast or copy a spell, so we're going to have 2 of those triggers, and then we're going to be able to kill their perfect pet. They need 2 more spells to save it. I really hope they cannot do that. All right, so they're going to return it to hand. Yeah, that wasn't great. Obviously, we wanted to kill it. It looks like they're going to be able to kill our Raw, potentially. Maybe not. Yeah, Raw's gone. All right, yeah, we look to be in some trouble here. And it looks like they can just... What am I trying to say here? They can adapt their Terramander whenever they want. So we have 7. So we could just do Explosion for 3 on their Dorat. Let them hit us for 5 next turn. Yeah, the problem with... No. Yeah, we could do Raw plus play Brazen Borrower. That's not bad. Yeah. I think that's the play. And I think we just want to play the Brazen Borrower just right now so that they don't have any chance of drawing a Mystical Dispute. So we have, yeah, I think we just want the land at this point. All right, so we just have to hope they don't draw a burn spell, I guess. If they do, then we're dead. All right, that's a land, right? That's a land? No. That's a land, right? It is a land. Well, hopefully it's a land. Okay, I doubt that's a card that's going to lead to them getting a Dorat to 6 or even to 5. So I think I'm better off blocking Terramander. And not even trying to go for the trade, obviously. It's not going to be a trade. I think it's probably they have a spell in hand. Hopefully they can't just shock us for the kill. I think if they could have shocked, they would have just done it because it would have been a lethal attack. It is a land. That's okay. This game's over, I think. Okay. Oh, we did it. Here's raw. So we're doing 4. Not milling ourselves. Nope. All right, and I guess they're not going to live to see the other one resolve. All right, yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So we're on the draw here. I don't think I'm going to bring in Legion Warboss. I do think I'm going to bring in my board clearing spells like Flame Sweep and Storm's Wrath. I think I'm going to bring in my Mystical Disputes. I don't think Negate is that important here. I think 4 Mystical Disputes is good enough. Well, no, Negate's bad, but Ionize is not bad. No, I don't want that many copies of Ionize. Ouch, I have 7 cards to get rid of here. I think I can pare down on the expansion explosions. The Mythos actually seems pretty good here. So I think I will keep those in. I think I can go down to 1 Storm's Wrath. It might not even be that... Well, no, it's actually pretty good. Go 1 down on Chemister's Insight. Brazen Borrower is pretty good here. Yeah, maybe being on the draw, pare down a little bit on some of the 1-drops. On the draw, you want Chemister's Insight. It's not right to bring that, to take that out. Maybe 1 down on Raw. Something like this. Yeah. Yeah. When I was doing deck building for this, is that a keeper? I don't think that's a keeper. I mean, the only reason I would consider keeping it is because of the Temple of Epiphany, but it seems like such a land-heavy hand. Could Mystical Dispute their turn 2, which is actually pretty good because they always cast a spell. 24 lands. I don't know. Maybe this is a keep. It does guarantee us that we have late game. Just like actually being able to cast our spells. We can cycle away the Triome on the third turn. Yeah, I think this is okay. We should be able to catch up a little bit with some of the board clearing spells we have. All right, turn 1 Temple. Mystical Dispute, how good are you? Actually pretty good, I would say. So yeah, that's fine. We're the control deck here. They're the creature deck. They're the beatdown. Although maybe game 3 we'll bring in the Legion War boss and become the beatdown. But I don't think so. We'll see how many... we'll pay attention to how they sideboard this game. Ooh. Yeah, that's fine. So we're pretty much just going to counter whatever they do here. They do nothing. Well, that's wonderful for us. I think we'll play a mountain and pass. Yeah, this is actually looking pretty good, because if they don't do anything again, then crash through is fine. Not countering that. Oh, this game could be over early. They just have had a really bad start. I wonder what's going on in their hand. It's not good. I think they've just missed a lot of land drops. I think they're just desperately looking for land. I'll let that happen. Yeah. I really wanted to play Chemist's Insight. That's why I didn't counter that. Maybe you do want to counter that just to prevent them from finding that land and really just close the door on the game. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I'll just discard a land. My hand is such that they just won't be able to resolve an important spell next turn. Got 3 blue sources, so yeah. We're just in a really strong position here. Man, what are they looking for? Do I want to dispute this? No, I don't think so. They can have their cards. I'm just going to counter their key ones. Terramander down. All right. Still nothing too exciting happening for us. Do I just want to cast a Bone Crusher? I think so. I think it's time to put some pressure on them. They can opt, that's fine. Probably just needed a land. And I don't want that to happen. Don't think I want to stomp their face here. How much do I want to use this right now? Yeah. I'll take the damage. I can take it. They're going to dispute. Okay, so if I pay for this and then they untap and play Crackling Drake, what's my answer to that? 2 Bone Crusher Giants? I feel like that's the most threatening play pattern. Yeah, I mean, if I pay for this, then I'll have 2 of these creatures on board and Crackling Drake, kill that. I think that's fine. I think I'm going to pay for this. I think it's going to be hard for them to come back with 2 of these 4/3s down, even if there's an open window here. Okay, they didn't do the thing I was afraid of. But maybe they can just remove both my creatures this turn. Yeah, it looks like it. Maybe I was a little hasty with the Mythos. I mean, they have taken a lot of damage over the course of that play pattern, that line they took. I think I'm just going to play another Bone Crusher Giant. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tapped or untapped. I think untapped. Because then we can do Stomp plus Ionize. They've got 9. So Stomp is not an answer. I think we Ionize this. I think it's a legitimate threat. All right, they're looking for counters. We don't have any more counters, so... Oh, they found it. Oh, maybe not. Okay. They just found something else they wanted. Meanwhile, we do have a lot of pressure on them, and they can't play Brazen Borrower this turn. Not like that would really matter that much. All right, I'm going to play the Opt, look for Raw maybe. Brazen Borrower seems good. Yeah, I think I'm just going to pass, hold up Stomp, plus Brazen Borrower, or Petty Theft, rather. I think they're just too far behind at this point, even if they just start landing their big spells. Yeah, because we can just send this back to hand and kill them. No Raw this game, which is a little disappointing, but... Hopefully we'll have the results that we want. If all goes smoothly with this line I'm going to take here. Kind of like stomping first. Just in case they have... I don't even know. I don't think it matters that much. I think this game's over. Okay, they did a Mystical Dispute. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Sweet. That's cool. Yeah. Yeah, we worked our way into Diamond yesterday when... Oh yeah, it was because we were playing with Dimir Control, and that deck is actually good. This deck is good too, though. This deck can really play. It's and you don't have to do this exact build of it. You can look at what some other people are doing. There are definitely some other raw Storm Conduit builds out there. I like playing with the Mythos, though. It's really fun, and we can actually cast it for full value, and copying it. I was able to do that in one of the games where I was kind of testing this deck and still finalizing the list. And yeah, it is insanely fun to copy that card, especially when you cast it for full value. It's like 2 big creatures fighting 2 other things when they come in. It's pretty absurd against like a mid-range or aggro creature deck. But you could also copy 2 planeswalkers. I mean, it could get really silly, as you can imagine. All right, so thank you so much for watching. Remember to subscribe. And yeah, I will see you next time.